The Catholic social teaching themes that my project is working under are actually two. The first is the idea of care for God's creation. And what care for God's creation is the emphasis that the church places on the need for us to be good stewards of the environment. To be a good steward means to take care of and to not to abuse the environment in a way for our own gain. And so the church places a tremendous emphasis on the earth, the water, the animals, and things that are maybe non-human, how important they are. Some of the scripture that I chose, now some of this you're going to see from you're going to be pulling from your awareness project, right? So this is not all from scratch, pull from your awareness project. Some of the scriptures that relate back to the theme of care for God's creation are the following, and I'm just going to mention a couple that I think are the most important. The first is humans are created to take care of creation. From Genesis 2:15, commanded to care for creation. And Romans 1:20 says that creation reveals the nature of God. So we believe as Christians that how we see God, one of the ways that we see God is not just through human beings, but also through the environment that He's given us. Some of the issues within this Catholic social teaching theme, it is the newest Catholic social teaching theme, and a lot of that has become because of the destruction to the environment that we've had. The Catholic Church is now really looking at this issue, and it parallels our emphasis in society. So now we are kind of talking about the environment, so the church wants to make a response to that as well. Stewardship is the giving of time, talent, and treasure, but also stewardship is to be good caretakers. And so stewardship is one of the things that fits underneath this theme. Two issues that are happening under this theme are the greenhouse effect and global warming, which means that because of the layer around the atmosphere that's created by pollution, it is trapping warm air into our environment, which is creating a temperature rise overall on the earth. Those things are happening, and that's going to cause some horrible things to happen if we don't do something about it. The rainforest destruction also falls under care for God's creation. The rainforest is essential because it gives us, the plants are needed in terms of a good carbon dioxide oxygen exchange. We get a lot of our medicines from the rainforest, and so those are important, and the church sees that. And the idea for care for God's creation is that we have to live interdependent with creation. We can't live independent, so we have to do this together. And St. Francis of Assisi is the patron saint of ecology, which is the study of the earth. One of the quotes that I thought were appropriate for care for God's creation comes from Pope John Paul II. He says, "The earth will not continue to offer its harvest except with faithful stewardship. We cannot say we love the land and then take steps to destroy it for use by future generations." The other Catholic social teaching theme that my project works under is the idea of solidarity. Solidarity is the idea that even if we are not related by blood, we see each other as being brothers and sisters. So the idea of solidarity, to be in solidarity with someone, means that even though I may not see that person on the other side of the world, that I have empathy and I care for those people. Solidarity is really the idea of friendship, and especially friendship among people that you may or may not know, or may not even live near. Pope Francis, a recent quote that he just gave was, we all are children of one Heavenly Father. We belong to the same human family, and we share a common destiny. And so this idea of that we are all people under one God, under one, on one earth, is something that we need to share. One of the quotes that I thought fit also with the idea of solidarity comes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who says, "We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now." And so this idea that differences should not be something that separate us, because ultimately we are one family in terms of the human family. So, my two Catholic social teaching themes are the idea of care for God's creation and solidarity. Specifically, the specific injustice, so if you're kind of following along with me on the rubric, I'm on the second box. Now you may think, oh my gosh, that was all just one box. I did have 2 themes, and some of you do have 2 themes. But you do need to spend some time. Hopefully, I am demonstrating that I know about the themes. Now, I know it's easier for me because I teach these themes to you all, but you need to have some basic, idea about what these themes are too. If you only have 1 theme, then just do 1. Yeah.
Should we use quotes and things to kind of...
We want you to pick and choose from that project you did at the beginning of the year. Now, don't bring everything. Don't bring the song and the article and all that stuff. I mean, pick maybe 1 quote, maybe a verse from the Bible. If you want to bring a portion of the song, if you really, really think it fits, you might want to look at your awareness project and say, what were the best parts? And use that, okay? Or what was the best thing, like what connected the best? Some of you had songs, and I know some of these themes, to find a song for them is hard. So, but if you found one that's like awesome and you think it fits, it says it exactly, bring a little clip of it, that's fine. This is where, you're going to be pulling from that old presentation. Okay, so I'm into the specific. So now you know the themes, and now I'm talking about what specifically who I'm going to be working with. And under the idea of solidarity and this idea of being friends with people we may or may not know, caring about them, I'm going to be looking at the issue of refugees new to the United States. Under Care for God's Creation, I'm going to be looking at taking areas that are run down and really beautifying them and trying to create something on that land that's going to be sustainable and good for the environment. So that's my 2 specific areas. I'm still under the second one. So why about refugees? There are some statistics here that I'm going to share with you, but in 2012, the UNHCR said that there were 43 million displaced people, and of that, there are 16 million refugees on our earth right now. People who have left their countries, and again, I know we've talked about this already a little bit, but 16 million refugees currently are not living in homes. They're living in camps. 46% of the refugees that live in those camps are kids. So almost half of those are actually kids who they don't know a life other than living in the camp. One of the things that I wanted to show you were some statistics about refugees, other than what I just said. And I'm just going to bring a couple things to your attention about refugees. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to share, because the group that I'm going to be serving on comes underneath these, is this is a website called It Takes a Community. The top 3 places that refugees are coming from, it said Pakistan hosted the largest number of refugees in relation to economic capacity. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Kenya are 2nd and 3rd. So in terms of those 3 places, and the place that I'm looking at primarily is looking at people from Kenya. And so this is one of the hotbeds for people who are coming out of that country. So the goal is, in terms of solidarity, is to be in solidarity with the refugees. I don't know these people, they don't know me, but this is something that in terms of following the theme of solidarity, is having care and compassion for those people. So what are some of the refugees' immediate needs when they come to the United States? To feel welcome in this country, to get housing, they need shelter, to learn the culture of the United States, to find out how to get education, because education is going to lead to employment. So when I was looking at serving these people, I was thinking, what can I do to maybe start looking at how I can help in that way? Here's some other stats. I'm going to skip that one because I think I kind of talked about that. So we know that refugee children live in our community, but what are we doing about it? If half of the refugees are children and they come here, what are we doing as far as the United States to make them feel welcome and to make them productive members of society? Many don't have the skills, so part of it was what can I do to kind of help them with teaching some of the skills that they may need. And then in terms of being a kid, so if I'm a kid and I've lived in a refugee camp and I come to the United States, I need a place where I can be a kid. So I was looking at that too. And then also as a good steward, how can I help kids and also maybe help the area a little bit be a better place to live? Okay, where are you? Okay, so I decided to, this is the last bullet going under awareness, or last box. I decided to partner with two agencies. The first is the Housing Partnership Incorporated, which helps to place refugees in housing when they come, and then the Catholic Charities of Louisville Refugee and Migration Services, who actually are the ones who get the refugees here. And I have both of their websites. I want to show you what the Housing Partnership is. And again, you need to give some information about your partner agency. This is the HPI, which is the Housing Partner in Housing Partnership Incorporated. Their goal is to create, sustain, and promote access to affordable housing. That's their goal. That's the mission of this organization. And we strive to be the premier organization that strengthens neighborhoods and improves lives through education, preservation, and the development of affordable housing. So I partner with them because they're that link between when the refugee gets here and helping them to get affordable housing. The other partnership agency that I worked with is Catholic Charities. And Catholic Charities is a big organization, but one piece of the organization is working with refugees and people who migrate to the country. And this is their website, and their mission is to provide refugees with support and assistance they need to be self-sufficient. So the goal is to give them support, to give them resources so they can then live on their own here in the country. Relationship map. Okay, so now I've presented the awareness piece of this project. I have demonstrated that I am aware of the theme. I have demonstrated I'm aware of the people. I'm aware of their needs. I'm aware of who helps these people. That's the awareness piece. Now I've taken this to the next step, and now I know kind of what I'd like to do and who I like to work with. Now I'm looking at, from an analysis standpoint, what's the best thing to do? And so a relationship map, and I'm saying this as if you don't know this, but this is something you need to say. A relationship map is a way that you can take an issue and really decide what's the best way to help. And so my central question was, what factors are necessary to ensure that refugee families are welcomed and treated with respect? That was the question that I was trying to figure out how to go about that. Two areas, I looked at this on a huge map, but I focused in on two areas. Apartments and public housing organizations have to be able to meet their housing needs. And then government organizations have to be able to help with making those affordable and anything else that they need. What factors are necessary to ensure that apartments are available? Well, land has to be available and funds have to be budgeted for that type of thing. What factors are necessary to ensure that the government organizations provide affordable housing? People have to vote for people in legislature that will support that, and then tax money has to be available to pay for that. So I looked at these issues. When I went to meet with the Housing Partnership of Incorporated and the Catholic Charities, I took my map with me and I asked them to think about, is this a good path to go down? This is what I'm thinking about, really who I want to work with. Is this the path that I want to go down? And through that conversation, we came up with a plan, a proposal plan for what to do. So on September 12, 2013, I met with my 8 agencies. We talked about the relationship map, and we came up with a plan of what I could do for my project. Okay? And so I learned a little bit about the refugees in terms of how they get served, as well as how does the housing really work. So I was able to have those conversations in my meeting with my relationship map. So this is the plan that we came up with after the meeting. Now I'm at the, so if you notice that was a pretty quick section compared to the awareness. That was the analysis section. So you got to be able to see and follow the map, and you got to be able to talk about the map flow, as well as that meeting that you had to shift the map to a plan. So here was my action plan. Through the meeting and through conversations and through working, we decided, my